But every time I walked by it, I thought, this looks like a funeral home. So welcome back, friends. I hope you're all having a wonderful day. I wanted to jump on and say that even though, nothing is really normal right now, I hope you're finding something to find pleasure in and peace and joy during this, time when nothing is normal. And right now, with having a little extra time on our hands, one of the things that I've been doing is, reading things online. And because I love home decor, I've been focusing on reading some things about home decorating and just some things to, kind of escape reality and find a few things that I think are useful tips. So I ran across this article from realsimple.com, and I will include a link in my video description to the actual article if you want to go and read it. But it is 6 simple secrets to finding your personal home decor style. And as I was reading this, I thought this was share worthy because I know that finding your personal home decor style can be a real challenge. It's something that I have struggled with, and I know from reading comments over the years, so many of you have struggled with this as well, and maybe you're still struggling with it. It is a real, true struggle if you cannot figure out what your decor style is. It also doesn't help that there are so many trends, and so sometimes we find ourselves looking at things that are part of a trend, and we immediately, are drawn to them and we fall in love with them, and then we go out and we remake our whole entire home to fit this trend that fades. And oftentimes we find ourselves still walking around our homes thinking that we're not pleased with the way that it looks. Maybe it doesn't feel quite as comfortable as we'd like for it to. And the reason that we get those feelings is because it's not our genuine style. We're trying to fit into a mold that we were not created for. And so I thought these tips were really helpful, and I'm going to share them with all of you. So tip number 1 is to start a Pinterest board. Now, I know a lot of you do that already, and I've done that myself. But one of the things that they say is spend time perusing the multitude of images on Pinterest. That can be so inspiring. But the ability to save the images we admire in one place is priceless. Create a board devoted to style and use it as a gathering spot for images that speak to you. And then every so often, review what you've saved to tap into what you're drawn to. So when you're saving these images on Pinterest, those images that inspire you, every now and then go back and look at those images and see if what you've pinned are things that you're still drawn to. Is that something that you still feel like you love, or was it something that you loved in the moment? So I really thought that was great advice to revisit your Pinterest boards on a regular basis. Tip number 2, purchase an anchor design piece. I think this is so important. Find one object, such as a centerpiece bowl, a lamp, a frame, even a small piece of furniture that you just love. Use it as your design anchor and style the rest of the room off of that one piece. That way you have something you truly enjoy to reference back to as you explore other ideas for your home. Anchor pieces are key, when you're decorating. You find that piece and then you build around it. Whether it's a large piece of furniture or whether it's just something small that you're putting together, like a vignette or, something on a shelf or a cabinet. Having that anchor piece is really important, and that's the piece that it sort of sets the tone for the rest of what we're getting ready to pull together. Tip number 3 is create a real life mood board. Now this is probably very similar to like a vision board. Similar to Pinterest, it says, while similar to Pinterest, a real life mood board provides a realistic look at the styles you love. It may sound simple, but a corkboard provides the perfect canvas to collect and pin inspiration onto. Perhaps it's a professionally styled spread of a home from a magazine that you're drawn to, a postcard, or a scrap of ribbon. As you continue to collect items and add to your mood board, you're sure to see your own personal style evolve. Now, unlike Pinterest, this is a great way because you can actually physically see, touch, hold, feel the item in front of you. You know, a scrap of fabric, a paint swatch, a picture, something that you can physically see, something that you can look at and say, you know, I love this. I love the texture of this. I love the colors in this. And then you can also put those with other things you have on your board, you know, next to each other as a comparison. Do they work together? If I chose this paint color and these, you know, tones for my room and this pattern, would it play well together? Things like that. I love the idea of creating a real life mood board. Tip number 4 is start small by designing a vignette. Find a small space in your home, such as an end table, your bedroom dresser, or a small shelf. Gather a few objects, such as a vase, decorative bowl, framed photo or artwork, anything that tickles your fancy. Arrange them and live with it for a week or so to see if the items have long-term appeal. Designing one small area is much less intimidating than an entire room. And if you end up liking what you create, you can spread that style across your entire home. That is a wonderful idea because you can take something on a much smaller scale, pull it together, and see if you like it before you were to create an entire room around it. So here's a great example. Say you've gone to the thrift store and you found this fabulous vase and it's an inspiration piece, and all of a sudden this vase has a boho vibe, and now you feel like your home decor style is boho. So instead of going out and purchasing a rug and a basket and artwork and macrame and all these different things to fit this vase that you found at a thrift store, because now you think your decor style is boho, try creating a small vignette and see if that inspires you. And if you get a lot of joy out of that, you get a lot of inspiration out of it, then it's most likely that that's a style that you can live with long term, or you can at least live with for the foreseeable future. This is something that I've made a mistake with in, you know, decorating many times. I go out, I find a piece, I love it, and I think, this is my style. This is exactly what I'm drawn to. So then I just go out and I base my whole entire room around this piece I found at a thrift store or, you know, at Home Goods. And then all of a sudden I realize this isn't my style. And now I've got a bunch of stuff that I can't use, that I don't care for. It doesn't bring me joy. And, you know, when we are in a space in our home is a reflection of who we are. Our home is a reflection of the things that we love. And when you walk through your home and you feel like the walls are closing in on you and you've over decorated, or you're somebody who feels like you've under decorated, or you feel like you have a hodgepodge of things because you're trying to mix a million different styles together and it's really creating chaos for you, a really great place to start is on a small scale like a vignette. And so I love that tip. Tip number 5 is take a flower arranging class. Flowers are a source of inspiration for so much of what goes on in fashion, beauty, and home decor. The opportunity to play around with blooms in various hues, shapes, and textures can help you tap into what speaks to your soul the most. For example, if you're drawn to a minimalist, symmetrical arrangement, the clean lines of modern decor may be best for you. That's a great idea as well. You know, if you are someone who finds yourself really in other people's homes drawn to big, huge floral arrangements with lots of color, but yet you try to incorporate one into your home and it feels out of place, maybe you're somebody who really is more of a greenery person. Maybe you're somebody who, you know, flowers are really just not what you know, makes you feel alive and makes your space feel alive. Speaking from experience, I've done this myself. I remember one time I found the most beautiful floral arrangement at an antique mall and I bought it. It was gorgeous. I mean, somebody really took a lot of time to put this together, and it sat on our coffee table in our formal living room at our prior house. And I remember when I purchased it thinking, this is stunning. It's on a large scale. You know, I'm getting a great price for it. I could have never created this for what I've paid for it. But every time I walked by it, I thought, this looks like a funeral home. This looks like something that would go in a funeral home or on the top of someone's casket. So even though I loved it when I saw it amongst everything it was surrounded by in the antique mall, when I brought it into my own home, none of those florals spoke to me. And every time I walked by it, it just made me feel down instead of bringing me joy. So ultimately, I ended up replacing it with something that was more greenery related, and I fell in love with it. So that's a really good tip. Take a, you know, flower arranging class and, you know, see if maybe you find inspiration in different hues of florals and different colors of, or different types of flowers. And if that doesn't work for you, try a more minimal look. Maybe you're somebody who's drawn more to greenery. And then lastly, tip number 6, visit a designer show house. I know a lot of you guys do this because I see you share the videos. Many interior designers participate in show houses, and often the proceeds go to charity. Designers get the opportunity to decorate a room that best reflects what styles and trends they are currently embracing. A visit to one can help you tap into what you'd like to see in your own home. So I know a lot of you go to model homes and things like that. That is a great way to get inspiration. However, I'm going to say this, and it's probably going to be an unpopular opinion. I think you can also get into a place where you start feeling more disappointed and sad when you visit those homes and you return to your own than you do inspired and happy. When you go into your ideal home, which is nothing like the home that you're living in, and you leave and you're like, the granite countertops were beautiful, the open concept was beautiful, the wood floors were gorgeous, the skylight was beautiful, the landscaping was magnificent, and then you go back to your own home, you can fall into that trap of home envy, where now your home doesn't quite measure up. It feels inadequate. Now you feel depressed. So I say do that with caution. If you're somebody who has a lot of restraint and you can go visit those homes and walk away truly feeling inspired and go back to your own home and just take some ideas, then that's a great way to go. But if you're someone who finds yourself visiting even channels on YouTube of homes that inspire you, but after you watch the video, you feel depressed and sad about your own home, that isn't something that's going to bring you joy, and it's really not something that's going to head you in the right direction of helping you find your true style. What you're doing is you're basically looking at the style of other people that you admire and then feeling inadequate because your home doesn't measure up. That's a great idea, but I would also do it cautiously. I love this saying, you know, that comparison is the thief of joy. And I always say that comparison is the hamburglar of happiness. You remember the hamburglar from McDonald's, the little one that came in and, you know, and robbed the hamburgers? That's how I feel about it. So if you're not going to get joy and inspiration from doing it, why like torture yourself? You know, don't do it. If you can do it for inspirational purposes, then go for it. But if it's something that's going to make you sad, we have enough of that going on in the world. Stay away from it. I hope that these tips were helpful. They were not originated by me, but I thought this was a great source. So again, I will link it in the video description, and maybe, you know, you guys can read the article, take something away from this. I know I certainly have, and I know that my style just keeps evolving over the years, but I think I've really tapped into my true decor style is. I truly know what that is now, and I'm happy that I found it. So I hope you all have a wonderful week. I hope you're all staying safe. If you haven't done so, check out my video description for links to my social media site, and follow me on my social media sites, because that is where the real action takes place.